Welcome students, parents, staff, and friends of Augusta County to Connecting with Augusta County Schools. I'm Eric Bond, and I proudly serve as your Division Superintendent. Please join me throughout the year as we take a closer look at our outstanding division and how we strive to serve every child, every day. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Connecting with Augusta County Schools. I'm Eric Bond, Division Superintendent for Augusta County Schools, and with us today we have three special guests. First, we have Dr. Ron Abernathy. He is our Director of our Food Service Program. We have Mr. Terry LaFon, our Director of Transportation, and we have Mrs. Fonda Morris, Principal at Clymore Elementary School. Welcome, everyone.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Dr. Bond. Glad to be here.
So I appreciate everyone being here today. Obviously, with the COVID-19 pandemic in our country and what we're facing here in the Commonwealth and in Augusta County, it has presented lots of challenges for our school division. Our number one priority when we received the mandated closure was to continue to feed our students. And the three of you are integral in that process, and that's why we'd like to talk to you today to maybe give our listeners kind of an overview of what our feeding program is like and maybe some inside perspective of how it's gone so far, and just to get your views and perspectives as leaders in your respective areas as we continue to serve and feed our children. So that being said, Dr. Abernathy, we'll start with you. Being our Director of Food Service, obviously you and your team, your food service workers, this has been a daunting task to say the least. And certainly let me say, first of all, thank you to you and all of our food service workers for your dedication and hard work to feed all of our students from ages 2 to 18. That being said, kind of give us a general overview of the program that we've implemented so far.
Thank you, Dr. Bond. First of all, I'd like to thank you and Mr. LaFon and Ms. Morris and all the administrators and particularly our school nutrition staff for the job they're doing out there. They've been amazing getting our kids fed, and it's been an ongoing process and it's changed week to week. We're feeding any kid from ages 2 to 18. They can be Augusta County School kids, they can be homeschool kids, or any child that needs support as far as feeding. We've had some really big increases in numbers. First week we started, we had about 9,150 meals served total as a week. And as of today, the end of this week, we served over 42,204. So we are really making a lot of progress there. And hopefully we're getting these kids fed. And if there is a need from any family, if they just contact us, we'll do everything we can in order to get food to them.
So when you talk about giving meals to our students, our program right now is ages 2 to 18. And each child each day gets 2 meals. Is that correct? They get one breakfast and then they get one lunch.
That is correct. One breakfast and one lunch every day. And we just started this last week on Friday. We're also serving over the weekend. So in a week's time, they're getting 7 breakfasts and 7 lunches a week.
So that carries them through the weekend too. So on Saturday, they'll get a breakfast and a lunch, and on Sunday, they'll get a breakfast and lunch, and then they'll come back on Monday and start the week again. So that being said, there's 2 parts. We've got what we call the grab and go, where parents actually come to the school and do curbside delivery. But we also have a delivery, which we'll talk to Mr. LaFon about that here in a little bit. When can parents utilize this program?
Our program has changed from the beginning when we started, but what we're doing now, we're doing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's grab and go, pick up at the 11 sites, or that is delivery. And I'll let Mr. LaFon talk about delivery a little bit later. But those opportunities are at those 11 schools, and we're going to open up another site, Stewart Straff Middle School, that would be pick up, grab and go only.
What sites are open currently right now?
The sites that are open currently are all elementary schools, Beverly Manor Middle, and Buffalo Gap High School.
Okay, and so those pickups again are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and from the hours of 9 to 11. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then with the possibility we may open up some other sites just because of the overwhelming success of this program, and again, our efforts to continue to keep as many people home as possible and to reduce some of our numbers that may be doing the grab and go, we can, spread those numbers out a little bit to another site. So, Mr. LaFon, the second part of this program has been a delivery system. The board wanted to focus on that as well, not just the grab and go. Being as large as we are geographically and as rural as we are, we did realize that we may have some children that may not have the opportunity to get to the school for the grab and go. Or unfortunately, with the economic times and a lot of our parents may be being laid off, they may not have the gas money to put in their car to get to the school for the grab and go. So we felt the need to do a delivery system. Can you just kind of tell us in general how you have worked with our principals to organize that delivery system for those that need it, please?
Sure thing. Thanks for having us, Dr. Bond. What happens is parents will contact the schools of the children that they have attending those schools, and the schools then compile a list, and that list is turned in to the transportation department. We've changed the cutoff time now till 12 o'clock. They then, once we receive that information from the schools with the location of where the students and how many students we have at that location, we then use our routing software, Versatrans, and route where the bus stops are going to be. I have a few numbers I'd like to share with you that I think will shed a little bit of light on what an endeavor this has been. We have currently 19 bus drivers. Along with those bus drivers, we have 2 SUVs at 2 of our schools, Craigsville and Wilson. In addition, at North River Elementary, the principal Lori Cox and Jane Wright, Director of Elementary Education, have taken on delivery in that area themselves. Thanks to those folks for taking that on. So 19 drivers, 2 SUVs. We are delivering to, and this is school-aged guests and siblings, 1,574 students. Of those 1,574 students, 259 of those are siblings or what we call guests. These are folks that in going to these deliveries, we have found other children living there less than school age, and so we're also delivering food to those students as well. All of this makes up for 603 stops, and every day we're traveling approximately 750 miles.
So I want to go back to Dr. Abernathy just for a second. I just want folks to be clear so the numbers don't get confusing. Each child gets 2 meals per day, so really for every grab and go and every delivery, it's actually 4 meals per child because you get 2 days worth. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And I think our total for last week, we were just shy of 40,000 meals that were delivered and or grab and go last week. Is that correct?
Correct. Last week it was 41,958, and this week, as of today, was 42,204.
That's fantastic. Pretty amazing that, again, the dedication of our employees, our food service workers, and our bus drivers, that they are so committed to this program to ensure that our students are continue to be fed in such tough times that we're facing right now. That kind of brings me to you, Ms. Morris. Appreciate you being here. As Dr. Abernathy said earlier, we have 9 elementary schools, 1 middle school, and currently 1 high school that serve as our hubs. Clymore Elementary is one of those hubs. So as the principal of our largest elementary school, we appreciate you here representing all principals that are involved with this food delivery program and food service program that we're doing. To get your perspective on things from the building level in your community, tell us about the program, how it's gone, kind of how you and your team at Clymore have kind of organized not only the grab and go, but how you have also had to organize some teacher volunteers and some community volunteers for the delivery system as well. Just kind of give us a general overview.
Okay, so first of all, Dr. Bond, thank you and the school board for allowing this program to happen. And to Dr. Abernathy for your great teams. We could not do it without the cafeteria workers. They have been amazing to work with, and to Mr. LaFon for helping us out with the transportation. So this program for us has truly evolved. We started with just one bus. We're now up to 4 buses that leave from the Fort community. I will say also in the Fort community, we have a great team. The high school administrative team and the middle school administrative team are very involved and hands-on with us. Mike Connor, the principal at Stewart Middle School, started a Sign Up Genius, and we shared that out with all members of Clymore, Stewart Middle, and Fort Defiance High School. And we have not had any day where we did not have enough volunteers. We have an administrator and a volunteer on each bus that goes out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We also have 5 volunteers who are inside the cafeteria to assist with the food pickup. We've kind of developed it down to a science now where we've got our runners out by the curb who it's kind of like Chick-fil-A, a drive up, and we get their orders. And then we have the runners who bring the food out, and we have one person who's collecting the data for the people who are picking up. So it's worked really well. We're extremely appreciative and thankful to all the volunteers in our community. So many people have asked, how can we help? And, because of the restrictions, we can't have extra people around. But as soon as we've said we need anything like grocery bags, we have everyone coming in large force to help us out. So Kroger, Food Line, Walmart, they've all donated bags for us. We had a packaging company in Harrisonburg that Mr. Connor had a connection with, and they donated boxes for us. So we've kind of learned through these past several weeks of kind of gotten us down to a science, and we prepare the boxes with an address label for deliveries. And then, we just set up in the mornings and start the deliveries. We've also started pre-bagging the breakfast and lunches, which makes it easier for pickup. When we first started, we were just going through one at a time, and that was quite tedious. So it's just been a great team effort. For a lot of our families, they're just so appreciative. I think the thing that's made me the happiest has just been able to, from a distance, see some of our students. They'll roll the windows down in the back. They're happy to see staff members. We've been fortunate that we've had some books donated, so children that come to our school can pick up books. We also had some churches that have donated non-perishable bags of food, hygiene bags. So many things that they can pick up while they're there, and they're just so thankful for that. Our kids are missing being at school, and we're missing them even more. So it's a great way to still have a little bit of social distancing interactions with them. But like I said, the gratitude that's been shared to us from families has just been overwhelming. We have a lot of grandparents and other family members who are taking care of kids right now because we have a lot of families who are still working. And that's a hardship for them because they can't subject themselves to going out to the grocery store. So we're happy. We're giving food to everybody, as Mr. LaFon said, everybody in their home from ages 2 to 18. And they've been very appreciative of that. So the feedback has overwhelmingly been very positive. So again, I think that couldn't happen without everybody's support. And it's just been a true community effort. I mean, I know that, it was mentioned somewhere recently that, we're Augusta County strong. And I think if nothing else through this pandemic, we have definitely seen that is, we are definitely Augusta County strong. And specifically, the Fort community, I think we have a lot of Fort pride, the way that we've all come together. And I know that that's the case at all of our other schools as well.
So I want to come back to a couple points that you made, just maybe for some clarification for our listeners. First, you mentioned restrictions. And when we rolled out these programs, we wanted to make sure that not only our parents were heeding to the recommendations from our health department and CDC, but also that our faculty and staff were doing as well. Tell us a little bit about the restrictions. I know, for instance, that we tried to keep the kitchen area 10 employees or less in the kitchen area. We've also talked about, now that we're doing kind of the curbside, that our folks are wearing masks and gloves as they're doing that process. Can you expand upon that a little bit of just how you got that message out to our employees and our volunteers of how important it is that we model and follow those restrictions that have been recommended by our health officials?
Sure. The first week that we started this, we actually had families who would just park and walk up, and that quickly changed. So now we have on our Sign Up Genius link that we've sent out, we restrict the number of volunteers. We've shared with all of the volunteers that if you come in to work with the program, you must wear a mask, and we provide gloves. Again, we've had some great volunteers who have made masks for all of the volunteers at our schools. And we've had some donations here from central office. Dr. Shiflett helped us out with some masks as well. So that's just the expectation. So when they come in, whichever administrator happens to be in the building, we just make sure that everyone is aware that, we can't have more than 10 people working. Of course, the numbers don't allow for that. We stay 6 feet apart. We do the best we can with that and trying to get things delivered. Even loading the buses, we're very cognizant of our distance within each other. Our bus drivers are wearing masks. Anyone who's touching food or interacting with the public, we have our mask and gloves on.
Okay. So the other point I wanted to ask you about, you had mentioned the Fort community. Obviously, you're a principal at Clymore Elementary School, but we have what we call a campus style there at Fort. We have your school, the Stewart Middle School, and Fort Defiance High School kind of all on the same campus. And we really are fortunate to have that in 2 other locations. Stewart's Draft has that same setup, as does Wilson. So I think when we originally designed this food program, it didn't really make sense to open up all 3 kitchens of all 3 schools on your campus. Therefore, we designated Clymore as the hub, if you will, and then our high school and our middle school students took advantage of coming to Clymore, kind of just one stop instead of having to go to 3 separate stops. So just to clarify that's why you are getting volunteer help from not only the middle school but the high school, from those teachers and administrators as well. Is that correct?
That is correct. And actually, even thinking about the food service staff, because of the restrictions for numbers, and they're cooking at the high school, and then the administrative team from Fort Defiance has been great about getting the food and items to us at the elementary school. And then all 3 cafeteria staffs are working together collaboratively to get food out to our families. So it's been nice to mainstream that. They all work in their own kitchens and then just come together to bring the food, and then we just kind of stick with a smaller staff in the actual food preparation from the kitchen to the cafeteria tables.
So again, same for the restrictions. When we do the bus delivery, we try to keep less than obviously 10 people on the bus, and those folks on the bus are also practicing social distancing. They're staying at least 6 feet from each other while they're on the bus. Is that correct, Mr. LaFon?
That's correct,
Okay.
along with wearing the mask.
Okay, great. Not to put you on the spot, Ms. Morris, and I don't know if you have this number, but I'm just curious, do you have an idea or a sense of how many either teacher volunteers and or community volunteers, or the combination of 2, that are probably involved in our food program in the course of the week?
So we actually have, again, as I said before, we have an administrator on each bus. So 4 administrators on the buses. We have 1 who documents all of the students who are coming through. And then we have 4 volunteers who help with the buses, and we have 5 volunteers inside the building each day. That doesn't count all of the cafeteria staff that help throughout the week. So, I would say that we're averaging about 50 volunteers a week. And then, we also have, it doesn't end there. Some families can't come between 9 and 11 in the mornings. So we've worked out a system where they can come in later in the evenings to pick up. So we also have, our bookkeeper who helps to man the phones if we have late pickups. So it's been at least 50. And then we also have, like I said before, several church and community groups who are dropping off various items. So lots of community involvement. So
it's something very special. It's not just Augusta County Public Schools that are providing the service for our students, but it's the community as a whole. The adage, it takes a village. It certainly has taken a village to get this up and running, and what I consider a huge success. So can't thank our community volunteers enough. You'd mentioned some outside agencies that are helping with some other items that parents can have the opportunity to grab and go as well. So on behalf of the school board, I just publicly want to thank all of our community volunteers that are helping make this be such a huge success. I greatly appreciate, again, the leadership of the 3 of you. Certainly, Ms. Morris is representing all of the principals. I can't say enough for what they're doing every day at their respective schools to ensure that our students are continuing to be fed. It is a huge task for a school division our size, not only as far as student population, but geographically the number of square miles that Augusta County covers. So I just greatly appreciate all the hard work and diligence that everybody has done to commit to this program, again, to ensure that our students can continue to be fed. So for our listeners out there, if there's some that aren't involved in our food program and you would like to be involved, please just reach out to your principal at any of our schools and they can give you the information that you need to either participate in getting food and or volunteering. Appreciate your attendance here today. Thanks for being on the show. Thanks for all that you do. To our listeners, I appreciate you listening in. And again, please make sure you're taking care of yourselves, being safe. And I'll just end this episode with hashtag Augusta County Strong. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel to get updates on our latest episodes. Our episodes can always be found on Augusta County School's Facebook page and website.